Hey everybody, welcome back. This is the good guy coming at you with a video on Saturday. It's January the 19th, 2019. If you're tuning in on your weekend and you don't have a lot going on, congratulations. I've worked weekends over the years, so I've learned to appreciate being unimpressive. Maybe you're not showering. I haven't showered today, but you know what? Do what I want to do, It's like Cartman from South Park. Screw you guys, I do what I want. I got a sister, she does one of the better Cartman impersonations out there, so props. It's a tricky one, Cartman, you don't want to botch that one, because he's a classic, unlike South Park. A lot going on today in the news. If it's your first time tuning in, go ahead and click the subscribe button. I appreciate it. Like, dislike, thumbs up, thumbs down. There's a video. It's kind of, I don't know, tangent. I guess we'll get it going. I haven't actually watched the video because I don't know, stuff that's PC and, gets into gender issues, whether you're a man or woman. Anything that's divisive is just, it gets me riled up, and I just don't like to get into it, but it's went viral. It's a Gillette video that is supposedly taking a stab at men and masculinity, and like I said, I don't want to watch it, but supposedly it's climbing the charts for the most disliked videos on YouTube of all time. It's probably the most disliked video ever, had like 15 million dislikes. This one's at 800,000 yesterday when I checked in, and it's climbing up on, if it gets to 900,000 dislikes, it will be the 50th most unliked or disliked video on YouTube ever. So maybe whoever did the marketing or research on that might not have a job coming up pretty soon. If you've seen it and you've got any opinions on it, I'd love to hear what you think about it, what your thoughts are on it. It's kind of ironic though, Gillette, who sells a lot of shaving products, products that men use. Why would you want to shoot yourself in the foot and go after your number one target? Who's buying razors? Who's buying the majority of your shaving cream? Probably men. Just a thought. I'm no business guru. I'm no marketing executive. Take note, Gillette. I just got done watching a little video, about 10 minutes. President Trump, after he was in the White House, he swore in some new citizens. They took the oath of citizenship. Pretty cool. I don't think I'd ever actually listened to a ceremony, but supposedly this was the first time they'd used the Oval Office to do it. It was 5 people. Pretty cool, they're from all over the place. There was a Korean, an Iraqi, somebody from the UK. Pretty cool, just kind of. I'd never listened to the verbiage, of what goes into it. Basically, it's saying, you swear allegiance, any former connections or ties or oaths to other governments or other organizations. You're severing ties, this is your home, whatever your cultural, ethnic background, you swear to defend the Constitution of the United States. And I've just recently, it's kind of occurred to me, what does it mean to be American, what is it, and the liberties that we each appreciate, freedom of speech, freedom, to meet where you want, rights to Fourth Amendment. What is it? I'm not much of a constitutionalist. Search and seizure. I think that's Fourth Amendment. Your, Second Amendment, right to bear arms. All these things you're going to defend. It doesn't matter, what language you spoke originally, what the color of your skin is, what's your sexual orientation. None of that matters. If you're an American, you defend the Constitution, and that's what creates who we are. That's what connects us. That's what binds us, because we don't have that, we're just a banana republic, third world country. So President Trump, he came out and talked a little bit about immigration reform, and I don't know, a lot of people maybe this was a big announcement on Twitter and social media yesterday. At 3 p.m. the president's going to come out with another announcement, and he had the one last week when he was at the Oval Office, and people were thinking, oh, is he going to declare a national emergency because there's the southern border crisis, which is definitely a crisis by all intents. He broke down some statistics about drugs. He says 90% of the heroin and fentanyl comes in through the border. Cost of illegal immigration each year is $100 billion, $700 million to the cost of drugs. He broke down some statistics. 70,000 enough people to fill a stadium died in 2017. 300 people die a day because of opiates. I work in addiction, behavioral health area, and it's sad. It's sad. I see people that don't get it every day, and I've seen people not make it. It's I heard a stat, a physician I worked with a couple of years ago. He said 3% of people of opiate addicts stay clean longer than 6 months. And that was a couple of years ago. I'm not sure what the stats are nowadays, but that's pretty sad. That's a losing battle. And if 90% of these drugs, this heroin and fentanyl come in through the border, is it going to reduce 100% of the drugs and the illegal immigration? Probably not, but he references the wall. He's like, I'm for technology, I'm a big tech guy, I'm a big tech guy. But he says the wall and the wheel, have been around. You look outside, technologies and the cars change. You've got electric cars, hybrid cars, but what do they all have? They all still have the wheel. Walls work. And he has recently quoted some stats about crazy amount of walls turning up in Europe. There's, I think it was like 800 miles in the last few years, maybe going back 3-4 years, 45 new walls. And a lot of these European countries are dealing with massive migration. They're coming up from Africa, sort of like those coming from south of the border. They're just looking for a better life. You can't blame them. But like these Americans, these new citizens, they're swearing allegiance to what Americans believe and support. The Constitution and the liberties that are provided by that. If people come here for a meal ticket, which America has become, the world's meal ticket, and that's what Europe was becoming too, people just come for a free meal, and some money, that doesn't mean that they're gonna jump on board. They're not gonna take on our beliefs, our traditions, what we value, and so there's a lot of walls springing up in Europe for that reason. Oh, I got to give props to a guy that really is just educated me a lot on global issues, globalism versus patriotism, nationalism, which people have tried to call it racist. Nationalism is just meaning that you care for the traditions that create a sovereign nation. What defines you as a people. Americans, we have a constitution. We value freedom of speech. I say what I want to say, you say what you want to say, we're cool. You believe what you want to believe, that's it. It's simple. But Dr. Turley, he's a pretty bright guy. He's on Dr. Steve Turley. Check him out. He really covers a lot of what's going on in Europe. He's an author. He's written all kinds of books. He's got a big following on YouTube though. So check him out. He'll change your life. Really, he's not one of these alternative media sources that probably being censored. On YouTube, a lot of these conservatives springing up. YouTube tries to they chime in and censor them. call whatever they're preaching hate speech. Let's see. So yeah, Trump, he talked about he proposed more boots on the ground. He proposed extension for DACA recipients, which DACA was originally unconstitutional. Obama just signed it into law without Congress. So he gave him 3 more years to make a plan. What are you going to do? Are you going to apply for citizenship, or are you going to go home? What are you going to do? What else? More judges. There's this roadblock, just pile up of, I think, 900,000 cases of pending immigration cases. The people who come in, step foot on American soil. They didn't come in through the port. They didn't come in legally. But our current immigration laws require that they have a day in court. Fortunately, this administration has stepped in, and they're actually keeping them now, I believe, on the Mexican side of the border while they process them. But there's just such a backlog that they can't process these cases and determine, do you meet refugee status, or are you just here for because you want to make money and remit it back to wherever you came from. So they're going to be, I think, an additional 700 judges, 250 additional border security, $5 billion for the wall, DACA extension. I hadn't anticipated anything like real big coming out of this. People are like, oh, is he going to declare the emergency again? I think he's just trying to expose even further Pelosi and these Democrats for what they really are. They're obstructionists. This is all about setting up 2020. They want this administration to fail so they can say, hey, this guy didn't do anything. Vote for us. And they also benefit from an open border. Illegal immigration is a source of Democratic votes, and there's been a lot of voter fraud. I mean, if you look into that, Google the voter fraud out of Florida, California, Arizona. A lot of the votes in this last midterm and in the 2016, were clearly illegal. All you need is an ID. Some of these states that have what are they called? Sanctuary cities. They just, here you go. Here's an ID. Go vote. So we need that's one reason why Democrats don't want a wall. And Trump is extending olive branch after olive branch after olive branch to say, hey, I'm trying to work with you. I'm giving you something. Give me something. And the cost of building the wall is like $5 billion. The billions that we'll save on the other side is just it's gonna pay for itself multiple times a year. It's not rocket science. They know it. They're just trying to obstruct and make him look bad. It's kind of like wanting the pilot of a plane to crash it with you on it just because you don't like the pilot. Think about that. That's pretty brilliant, Heck with you, pilot. Let's scuttle this thing. Let's go down together. Oh, wait. Okay, so that's, who knows what's going to come by down the pipeline. Stand by. There's always something coming around the corner. Let's see what else. More Pelosi shenanigans. She decided to fly commercial overseas. Trump, the executive office, they issued a letter. It said no government resources or travel, planes, etc., to support congressional congregations. This was like a fancy letter that he issued to the Congress. Pelosi and some of those were not happy, to say the least. But she hopped on a plane and she's going overseas. Who knows? Maybe she'll just stay there. Just go home. Wherever you're going, just stay there. We're good. We'll get somebody to replace you. Much better, no doubt. BuzzFeed. I'm not sure. I'm not a big. There's this whole crossfire hurricane thing. If you've been following politics on any level. There was a dossier that they created claiming all kinds of salacious accusations that Donald Trump was peeing on like beds with hookers, because Obama slept there. It was all an insurance policy to delegitimize the presidency, and it was supposed to set up this like whole Russian collusion. It's been going on for years. There's a special counsel. This Michael Cohen was his attorney for a long time. He's been prosecuted. He got busted for some tax fraud stuff that wasn't even related to his time with Trump. There was and BuzzFeed, they initially leaked this dossier from FBI and DOJ sources that they're now being sued, so they're legit, they're a legit publication. They came out with another false headline saying that this Cohen said that Trump told him to lie to Congress about his involvement with some real estate. He was talking about building a hotel in Russia a couple of years, which the guy wasn't president. If he wants to build, a hotel in North Korea, then fine. He's a businessman. Build it where you want. So they're back in the news. Everybody, if you followed any of this, I'm not a pro on it, but it's just a cluster. It's just one hit job after another, fake news. Just to paint this whole Russian collusion narrative, which is fizzling out. If there was any collusion, it would have come out a long time ago. Tomorrow something pops up, hey, it is what it is, but it's looking pretty dire right now. Speaking of Kim, there's supposed to be another summit coming up end of February. That's cool. I saw a photo of that guy the other day. He had lost the Dr. Evil suit. It's kind of like the one that Hillary wears too. He dissed that, and he was wearing like a pimped out suit. He had like a red tie. He wasn't looking so dictator. So that's good. The North Koreans, they're opening up possibility of just taking on a free market approach to their country. It's sad. I was over there in Korea. I was in Seoul for a couple of years, and I saw a documentary of North Korea. It's sad, just no food. I think like a 12-year-old counterpart in North Korea was like 40% of the size and the weight. It's just sad, So this is good to see that the administration's been able to work this. People believe that it was our own deep state CIA that was propping up, and it basically had hijacked the North Koreans and using it as a way to funnel drugs. And this goes back for years. I'm no expert on deep state clowns, but they're definitely not the good guys. Hopefully that's all going to change. With them opening up and getting the bad guys out of there, and that's been kind of in collaboration with Xi from China. He's been one of the only connections and insiders to NOCO. But I'm no expert. Research that. It's pretty interesting, pretty cool, pretty promising. It's interesting because like a year ago, people were like speculating, there's gonna start World War III. Is he gonna nuke us all? Look what's happening now. The guy's giving up his Dr. Evil suit for a button down red tie. You never know what can happen. Okay, what else we got here? I'm going to shift gears here along the line of sports. Well, it has to do with the Super Bowl. Gladys Knight, who's a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, she's going to be singing the national anthem. That's pretty cool. A couple statistics on her. She's been called the Empress of Soul. She's a 7-time Grammy Award winner. She's got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She converted to the Latter-day Saint Church in 1997. And she has a Saints Unified gospel choir. It's supposed to be a diverse choir. I'm not sure if it's all members of the Mormon Church, or if it's just whoever wants to be in it. But she knows soul. She definitely could put together a choir if anybody can. But so I read that, and then I was thinking who I didn't know who was singing at the halftime show, and supposedly it's Maroon 5 and a couple other guys, and so that then it goes into other articles about Maroon 5, they're a white band, and then news media outlets got to hijack it and make it about race, and make it all political, supposedly because it's Atlanta. It was a Yahoo article that said, it's one of the blackest cities in the country, and it's the source of a lot of hip hop, and so we need more black artists performing, and that's cool. I mean, whatever. Get in there, get somebody entertaining. But then you got all these people who are out boycotting. They got a petition to remove Maroon 5 from the lineup. It's kind of like Coldplay. I like Maroon 5. But don't tell anybody. I mean, you don't want to admit it, but they've got some good songs. The guy's entertaining. He's got that high falsetto. I wish I could sing like that. I can't. Otherwise, maybe I'd be singing at the halftime. You got Jay-Z. He chimed in. He was a part of the reference in the article. It's like, got to stand in solidarity with Kaepernick, and no Maroon 5. But I read an article a while back that Jay-Z and Beyonce were having to give away tickets because nobody was going to their concert. I think it was over in UK or something. Like, wow, you guys aren't doing too well nowadays. I've listened to Jay-Z in the past. The guy used to have some good music, but why does everything have to be about race? Why does it have to be about the color of your skin? Why can't it be about marriage? Best person, best person for the job, the best person for the performance, regardless of what you're into, what you look like, how you roll, your sexual orientation. It's always the people that are virtue signaling and projecting that really feel the way that they're portraying others to feel. But that's a whole other topic of discussion. So a little bit more on sports. A friend wanted me to reference, if you follow Pac-12, Larry Scott, he's a not so popular commissioner. Been around a while. There's also a petition to blame and remove him for some of the failures. Pac-12 hasn't really been represented in the college football playoff since its inception, and they've got a contract to go through like early 2020s. I'm not a pro on it. The Pac-12, they need to step up. They need to market their brand a little bit better. Supposedly, they're bringing in some kind of firm, like a partner and a PR firm to promote them a little bit better. We'll see. But sometimes you got to plan long term. I don't know. I'm not a business person. They were talking about how their hub is in California, San Francisco. It's expensive to live out there. Tax. Like I said, I'm no business person. But who knows? Come to Tempe. Come to Arizona. It's nice. We got thriving business and economy over here. Come on down, Larry Scott. All right, so that's it on sports. What else we got here? Talked about that. I was thinking about pain. I was thinking about what we all experience on a daily basis. I was thinking about kind of what we do, social media is everywhere. And one of these gurus, founders, I think it was Facebook, he defected, he got out, he said, the goal of social media was to make it as addictive as possible. And these guys don't even use this stuff, Does it have its benefits? Yeah, YouTube, I'm able to stream like this from home. I'm grateful. Thank you, YouTube. Don't censor me. But it's a drug. It's a drug. We all have ways that we numb pain. Whether it's drugs, whether it's food, whether it's diversion, distraction, and I was thinking about what I've attempted to do recently is to just be present, and reflect, whatever we do to distract. I think essentially I've had this epiphany is we're trying to distract ourselves from something inside, stress, unresolved issues, emotional pain. So what I've been trying to do is just reflect, like if I'm at work, I'll turn off, my computer. I'll just kind of sit, I'll stare at the wall. I'll just try to just reflect inward and see, what's going on, what can I gain from just meditation, when I got sober back in the day, I used to go to this, it was an 11th step meeting. It was, it's the God group. It was sought through prayer and meditation to increase our conscious contact with God, is not verbatim the 11th step. But I remember one time an old timer, this was I was like 30 at the time. There was a bunch of old timers. They go to this meeting and they'd they'd on their commute, they'd turn off the radio, they'd just be with their thoughts, and I think personally, maybe y'all can identify with us out there. We're all very bad at just being in the moment. We've got to be doing something. We may not know what it is, but we've got to be somewhere else. We've got to be going somewhere. But where? What? Where? What would we be doing? That's food for thought. As I was getting ready to do this video, I thought, what's been on my mind? What's been part of reflection and growth for Aaron. That's where I'm at today, and hopefully you can get something from that. If you agree, like, subscribe, share, pass it along to your friends. If you don't like, thumbs down. Maybe I can get on that list of most disliked videos with Gillette. It's not the goal, but at least, if you're going to be known for something, good, bad, it's like in Hollywood, they say any publicity is good publicity. I'll take it. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. This is The Good Guy. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you soon. Bye.